Hello again, everybody. It's Todd Strouch, the Horror Nerd, here at PA HorrorCon and Film Festival. It is the first day of the convention, the middle of the afternoon. We are having a great time. There's a lot of great artists, vendors, and celebrities here. And I have the pleasure of sitting with one of them, Mr. Charles Belardinelli. How are you, Charles?
I'm good. Good. Thank you.
How's the show been for you so far?
So far, it's a little quiet, but that's okay. You know, it's not a big venue, you know.
Yeah. So, I mean...
But it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
These are fun.
I talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Tell them the whole story, right?
Yeah, listen. So I almost don't know where to begin because your career spans a very long time, whether it's stunts or special effects or whatever. Tell us a little bit about your journey of how you even got there.
I left the city of Boston. I was living there for 10 years. I grew up here, not far, in Jersey. Went to Boston, stayed there for 10 years, did a lot of backstage work, live theater, right? Built a lot of scenery, did lighting. And I decided, I want to go to Hollywood. I want to see what it's all about. So with my roller skates over my shoulder, my toolbox, and $200 borrowed money, I came to Los Angeles. And I was going to be a carpenter for the studios. And I was just very persistent, living on a friend's couch. And I kept going and going and going, and one thing led to another, and I got into special effects and been doing it for 35 years. I retired 10 years ago, but I've been behind the camera for 35 years or better.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
great career.
Quite the career.
Yeah.
So you are known as the First Freddy. Right? So tell us a little bit about that and how you became a part of such an iconic franchise.
Okay, well, we were filming part one. I can't remember the name of the studio, but it was a small stage on Cahuenga Boulevard in L.A. And we're filming first unit, and I'm there, right? I'm part of the effects crew. And I hear somebody call my name out. So I go over to one end of the stage, and they got a table set up and a camera, and all these props are on the table. I said, Charlie, let's see your hands. Okay, here. All right, he'll do. Bring him the makeup. I go to makeup. They're making up my hands. They put the sweater on me. I come back out. I said, what's going on, guys? What are we doing? He goes, we want you to pretend you're making the glove. I said, okay, well, just tell me what to do. And there I am, about 40 minutes, an hour. I'm cutting it up and doing this, and filing and everything like that. I had no idea. But when I saw the screening, when we went to the screening, they're rolling the front credits, and there's me.
There you are.
So a guy finds me. His name is Josh Clark. He finds me and he goes, I want to see if you want to do this kind of stuff. I said, yeah, I didn't even know this existed. He said, we're going to bill you as First Freddy. I said, what do you mean, First Freddy? He said, well, you were the first time the audience saw Freddy. Even though they didn't see your face, you were Freddy. I said, okay, I'm Freddy. I'm Freddy.
And here we are, right?
Yeah.
What, 40 years later?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Okay, I'm Freddy.
That is a great story.
Yeah, thank you.
Because I'll tell you the truth, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure many people don't.
Yeah.
So,
And
very
people
cool.
come here and they know who I am. That's hard to believe. I heard you were going to be here. Really? You know who I was,
So we horror fans are a special bunch.
Yeah, I guess.
What do you think makes this franchise so special that it has endured for so long? That people show up.
I think as far as Elm Street was concerned, it was something very, very different than, I grew up with the horror movies from the 50s and the 60s, and many of them were really bad, as you know, really bad.
Still love them, though.
Yeah, some of them were okay.
Yeah.
But I think that Elm Street was something new. It was different. And, that part one they made for like $1 million. And now, look at it. I mean, right?
Yeah.
The revenue off of those movies. I worked on part 1, 3, 4, and 5. I don't know what it is. I always liked horror movies as a kid, but I probably would have never gone to this extent, to come to places like this and pay money to get a signature and stuff like that. But it's like an occult. I worked on Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, the Kyoto Brothers. Love that
right?
movie.
And, people go, you worked on that movie? Wow! Like, yeah, I worked on that movie.
Well, your list of credits is pretty incredible, whether it's stunt work or effects or whatever.
Thank you.
Do you have a particular favorite story or anecdote from any of the films that you'd care to share with
Well, I'll
us?
tell you one little story on this movie, on the part 1.
Okay.
If you remember the scene where the blood is shooting out straight out from the center of the bed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Famous scene. Yep.
Now, that room we built was a rotating room. So it spun around 360 degrees just by hand. I did all the welding on that thing. So now we're going to put the bed up here. So we spin the room. Well, all the bedding, all the curtains, everything glued down, starched, pinned down with wires, okay? And we're going to do that scene. So we had a big dump tank. We had the hole in the bed and the hole in the set. And we're going to shoot water, and in reality it's coming straight down, but in post,
Sure.
when they spin it, looks like it's shooting with a lot of pressure, right? So I'm up on some kind of scaffold, I can't remember. And I got this big tube. And I'm connected up there to the dump tank. And okay, let it go. And now it comes flying out. All this liquid comes flying out. And somewhere it hits an electrical something. And the next thing I know, I'm like this, getting electrocuted.
Stop it, right?
But I wouldn't let go. I kept until the scene was over. It was resting on my shoulder.
Wow. That is quite a story, folks.
Yeah.
I love these behind the scenes
I like to tell that
kind
story.
of things.
Yeah.
That is a great story. It's amazing you're still here.
I met my wife, who I'm still married to, on that movie. She was the special effects coordinator's assistant, and she would help us out on the set quite a few times. She actually, when you see Heather go down, she gets pulled down from the bathtub, and you see her underwater. Well, that one there, we went to one of our crew members' house. He had a pool, covered the pool with black plastic, put her in the water, and put a camera on the water, like a Saturday or something. Just let's shoot this thing, and that was her.
Wow.
So you see Heather go down. Cut to. There's this girl floating around underneath the water.
I am a big fan of movie magic. I love hearing how it was done, and then there are times where I'm like, oh, I wish I didn't know how it was done.
Well,
like a magician.
When I go to see movies, and I'm sure a lot of industry people are like this, you see it in a little different.
Yeah.
Because you're looking for, no matter what department you work for, you're looking for all the technical things that, how they did it, right? And I love it when I see a special effect and I go, how the hell did they do that? That's my favorite, when I can't figure out how they did it. Sometimes I'll even call up the guy, who I know, who did it, go, what did you guys do? How did you do that,
Oh, absolutely. I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Having worked on a lot of low-budget indie films here in New York and New Jersey, sometimes I'm very surprised at how simple the effect really is.
Most people think it's magic, but it's... sometimes you make a movie out of Home Depot,
A little rolled up toilet paper and liquid latex, right?
There's no magic in it, but it's a craft,
Yes, 100%.
Okay?
100%.
And what I love about it most, it's movie making is an illusion. all an illusion. And I think it's wonderful that you can sit there and you get drawn in. But when you're on the set and all this is happening and there's people yelling and sometimes you're crowded in 30 people in a tiny room and you're trying to get work done. No one has, have any idea. Here's this wonderful film that they're watching. You have any idea of how it all happened, so.
Yep. Right off the edge of the screen, there's a guy with a camera, boom mic, lights.
And me doing something.
Right.
I'm making something happen, and I'm like right there,
right.
I'm like
pumping blood or whatever it is. Yeah. I got
Everybody's
you.
in your way. Excuse me, guys. I got to get in there.
I got you. Charles, before I let you go, do you have any final words you'd like to share with the fans out there?
Well, one of the things, I love the career. The hours were very difficult, okay? And I don't know how many guys who work behind the scenes, behind the camera, so-called below the line people. But I consider myself a filmmaker.
As you should.
And not a lot of guys will say that or think about it, but, well, I'm a grip, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a carpenter. Still, you're a filmmaker, and I've always been very proud of that.
As you should be.
Yeah, and very passionate about it. It's something I always wanted to find out what it was like, and I did.
Very good.
Yeah.
Charles, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time.
You're very, very welcome.
That was fascinating. Those were great stories, and I appreciate you sharing them with us.
I could tell you stories from now until next week. We got a million stories.
Listen, one of these days, I will buy you breakfast, and I will happily sit and listen.
You get a couple of effects guys together. There's non-stop stories, non-stop. Because we're in there. We're in the trenches, right?
Yep.
That's where the movies are made, and that's where I always wanted to be, right there when it was happening.
Fantastic.
All right, thank you.
I'm about to butcher your last name, so don't hold it against me.
You did it well.
Charles Belardinelli.
Very good.
All right.
Very good.
This is Todd Staruch, the horror nerd, here at PA HorrorCon and Film Festival signing off. We will see all of you in the next interview.
She does.